Hi guys, so quickly let me show us how to cut this corset. So I have two boxes here for my front and back buttons to be drafted. Then I have my shoulder line on both boxes. My shoulder to chest line, I'm doing 8 inches for my own measurement, okay? Then shoulder to bust point, 10.5. There's no bust point at the back pattern. Then shoulder to under bust, I'm doing 13.5 inches. No under bust at the back pattern, right? Then shoulder to the half length, 17 inches. Now listen, for the back pattern, the waist length is going to be 15 inches, while for the front pattern, the waist length will be 17 inches. Okay, that's because later, okay, usually the front is supposed to be longer than the back, so that when you wear the top, the back doesn't seem like it's shorter than the front because the bust is occupying space. If that makes sense. So I will explain to us how to make it right later. Now I'll mark half of my across back measurements on the shoulder and chest line, like so. Then I'll do the same thing on the back. So this other line is my center back. Okay, so I'll mark half of my across back on the shoulder and chest line, right? So let's quickly do the back, which is the simplest part of this pattern. Now on the chest line, I'll mark quarter of my bust circumference, which is 9.5. I'm not adding seam allowance, I'll do that on my fabric. Now on the waistline, I will mark half of my bust span, which is 4. Then I'll now mark half. Okay, I'll do something on the chest line. Now I'll mark half inches on both sides of that line, and I'll create my back darts. Okay, now I'm going to adjust the center back line. Okay, so I'll come in by 1 inch, then I'll link that line to my chest line. So this way, when you use a zipper, it sits perfectly at the back and it doesn't have that bulge, right? So this from here, I'll now measure my waist measurement. So from here, my waist measurement is 7.5. That's quarter of my waist, and I'll still impute the that, so making 8.5. If that makes sense. Okay, and then on my chest line, I have quarter of my bust circumference. I'll link it together. I didn't put any seam allowance. I'll do that when I'm cutting down the fabric. Okay, if that makes sense. So we don't need the upper parts. Now I'll label the back now. So this is B1 and B2. Then make sure you put arrows so when you cut out the pattern, you don't misplace them when you're cutting the fabric, right? Now I want to tighten up the chest area. So I marked quarter of an inch on both sides of the dart at the top. Then I'm just linking it up like this. Okay, so I'll cut out. Now you do this so that when you wear the corset, it's fitted basically because there's no sleeve and all, just the strap. So I'm adding my zipper allowance of 1 inch like that. Then I'll just cut out. Okay, so easy and straightforward. So don't forget that the back length is shorter than the front, but we're going to blend everything together later. So this is my two back pieces here. If you want, you can still divide it further. Now let's come back to the front. Now for the front pattern, we've already marked half of the back measurement on the chest and shoulder line. Yeah, so I'll join the 2 points together like that. Then on my chest line, I'll mark quarter of my bust circumference, which is 9.5 inches. Then on the waistline, I'll mark the same thing, quarter of my bust circumference. Okay, so when I join the side, it's going to be a straight line. Yeah, don't worry, we're still going to use the waist measurements in later. So now on the waistline, I'm going to mark half of my bust span. Bust span is your nipple to nipple measurements, guys. Okay, so I'll mark on the bust span line too. Then I will join the 2 points together. Now, because of the complexity of the front pattern, I need my shoulder slant to be able to position my dart properly. Okay, so I'll just mark my neck width, which is 3 inches. We don't need it, but just as a guide. Okay, then I'll do my shoulder slant of 1 inch. Then I'll create my shoulder slants linking into the neckline. So what I need here is my shoulder slants, right? So for my bust points, I'll come up by 1 inch. Okay, so when you finish sewing your corset, you don't have that pointy or sharp edge around the bust area. Then I'll divide my shoulder slant into 2. Okay, I'll find the midpoints. Then I'll use my ruler to link it back to the point, which is 1 inch above the bust point. Do you get it? Yeah. So now our that will be properly placed, right? Now, we marked quarter of the bust circumference on the waistline. So what you want to do now is you want to subtract quarter of your waist measurement from quarter of your bust circumference measurement. Quarter of my bust is 9.5, quarter of my waist is 7.5. So I have 2 inches extra. That 2 inches is what I'll use to create my darts. So you do that for your own measurement too. So at the end of the day, I cannot say use 2 or use 3. You use what your dart intake will be based on your measurements. Okay, so I'm marking 1 inch on both sides, right? So when I take 2 inches away from 9.5, I'll be left with 7.5, which is my quarter of my waist measurement. On another bust line, I'll mark 1/4 of an inch on both sides of the darts. Then I'll come down my 1 inch from my bust point. Same reason, so that I don't have pointy edges around the bust area. Now I'll link all these points together. I hope I didn't confuse us. Okay, so if quarter of your waist is 7, it means your dart intake will be 2.5. That is if your bust is 9.5. I don't know if that makes sense to us. Okay, so basically just subtract quarter of your waist from quarter of your bust measurements. Whatever is left to be your dart intake, then you share it, on each side of that leg. Yeah, makes sense. So I'm just linking all the points together. Now I want to blend. Okay, I'm just blending with my curved ruler. I hope I'm not confusing us. Okay, if you want to sew a corset, definitely you should know how to start the basic bodies. I'm just like doing like a revision sort of. So I'm still blending everything together to the bust point, because at the end of the day, you're not supposed to have any sharp edges around your pattern. So I'm just blending up like that. Okay, so I'm shading out the part I'm going to be cutting out. Now we are going to create the neckline. Okay, so for the neckline, I can just play around it. For my shoulder line, I'll mark down between 9 and 10 inches. Okay, depends. I'm just doing a 9.5. And on this line here, from the shoulder line, I'll come down by 7 inches. So this part is always higher than the midpoint. So I just use my ruler to create the curve. Okay, from the center front to where I marked at the top there. Then of course I'll link it back to the chest line. It's more like a tube, just has a strap. Okay, so I'm linking it back. If you want yours to be lower than this, it's fine, but this is just moderate. So I'm going to blend up here with the curve of my ruler like so. Okay, next I'm going to introduce our darts. So I'm going to mark 0.75 inch on both sides of the dart at the top there. Okay, yeah, that's 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Okay, if you don't do this, you're going to have gaping on your cup, right? So once I do this, I'm going to blend this or draw it back to the bust points. Okay, with my curved ruler like this. Okay, and same thing on the other side. Then remember that our front waist length was longer than the back with 2 inches. Now I'm going to create a bust dart, and the width is going to be 2 inches. Okay, so from the bust points, I'm going to come down by 2 inches here. Okay, so by the time you close the darts, it will now be equal. Okay, but now I'm going to measure my 2 inches from the bust point line. Okay, yeah, so I'm just taking my time to explain. This is it. The back is now shorter because the front is longer. So, but we want to find a way to like reconcile it together. Now, I will mark my 2 inches and then I'll create my bust dart. For some people, their bust dart is 1 inch. That means if your front is 16 inches, your back will be 15. For some people, it's like 2.5. Depends on the size of your bust actually. So, I've shaded that part now. Now, I'm going to open my waist dart and close the bust dart. So, just watch me cut that out now. So I'm cutting out the bust dart. Can you see that? Then I'm also cutting out my waist dart like this. Then I'll use a sellotape to close my bust dart there. You see that? So this is my sellotape. I'll just close it. Okay. So once I close it, I'll have to blend the side line again because of the train. Yeah. So I have blended it back now. So yeah. And now we are going to also close the darts at the top part here. So I'm just going to fold it like this. Now anytime you're closing that, you have to do what is called train. Train is like you're blending the lines back, because when you fold that, okay, the line tends to like shift. When I finish folding it, you see it. Okay, so can you see what I'm saying? The line has shifted, so I have to through blend. They're all terminologies of pattern drafting. So I'll use my curved ruler to like blend it back so that my curve is still intact. like this. Okay, so you can see how I've blended the curve. Okay, once I do this, now the last step, if you notice, the corset is a 3-piece cup. Okay, so you can use a sellotape to like just hold it together from moving here and there. That to be close now. Now I'm gonna mark 1/2 inch away from the center front. Okay, and on the bust line too. Then I'll use my curved ruler to link the 1/2 inch to the under bust. Actually, that 1/2 inch we marked is just a guide. Even if it doesn't touch the 1/2 inch on the under bust, it's fine. It's just a guide actually. So yeah, I'll place my curve like this, and then I'll create the curve of my corset. Okay, so this is it here. Right, so you can see the cup is already coming out. Then on this side, from the side seam, you can just mark 1 inch as is a guide. For some people, by the time you want to create a cup, the cup will touch that 1 inch. For some people, it will not touch it. It's only a guide that your cup doesn't, go and start touching the side seam. Do you get it? So now you place your curve, link the under bust to the 1 inch, then to the neckline, but it doesn't have to touch that 1 inch mark. It's only a guide, like I said. So my cups are ready. Can you see? But we are doing a 3-piece and not a 2-piece corset. So I'm gonna mark 2 inches from my neckline. Okay, I'll just mark 2 inches round like that. I was marking 2 inches. So if you want a two-piece corset, you could just cut it out directly like this. But we want a 3-piece corset. Yeah, so but we're doing a 3-piece because I'm just marking my 2 inches round up to where the cup ends, not to the side seam. So I'm just linking all the points together. Can you see? So our 3-piece is coming out. I'll just label 1, 2, 3. Okay. And yeah, I will cut out. Okay. So and then I just put my arrows because by the time you cut out all these things, it can seem confusing. So I'm just labeling center front, drawing my arrows, so that when I cut out, the pieces don't get confusing. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut out. So watch me how I'm cutting taking out the center front first, then yeah, the side piece, and then of course those are the tiny pieces of the cup. So as it is, yeah, I'm done cutting. So it's as simple as this, and this pattern is for the a corset that has a zipper at the back. If you want a lace bag, I've done several tutorials on that. So yeah, feel free to leave your questions, suggestions, whatever. Just comment, just engage on the post, and don't forget to share. Okay, so yeah, I will drop the links of other videos I've done on how, if you want one that is laced. Okay, so you could just watch the video and see how to do a lace corset. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.